Live in the UK. Now, this was pre-recorded like Raw. And speaking of Raw, I gotta say this before I get to SmackDown Live. There are two things I need to talk about quickly. Two decisions that the brass in the back made that is absolutely ridiculous. It's dumb. Ronda Rousey versus Nia Jax. Way too soon. Does not help Nia Jax. Particularly that Nia Jax is better as a heel and not talking really is her strength. And particularly if Ronda Rousey is a face and she can't talk yet. It would have been better if she had several matches first before getting this damn chance right now. Second thing, Jinder Mahal being attacked by Roman Reigns, and now I'm hearing rumors that Jinder Mahal and Roman Reigns is going to be at the very end of Money in the Bank or near the end of Money in the Bank. Really? Everybody hates Jinder Mahal. Many of my own subscribers, and you know who you are, have despised Jinder Mahal, have hated Jinder Mahal. I've never hated him. I know he's not the best worker, but at least he does a decent job. No matter how much you want to say it's bullshit, he's stupid, you should get it, I will see it different from you because I'm looking at long-term what this means. I'm not saying, again, since no one seems to listen to me, that he is not the key here. Seeing that someone is a jobber, getting an opportunity is what I cared about. That's all I cared about. But seeing this jobber, who is obviously a jobber, given an opportunity, did what he could, no matter if he's good or not, I don't care. He was given the opportunity, is now going up against a guy that absolutely everyone, their mother, their father, their grandfather, their grandmother, including their great-grandmother that dug up under the ground, stuck her in front of the TV, she came back to life and now hates Roman Reigns, the way everyone feels about him, is now going up against him. And guess what? I saw Raw yesterday. People were cheering for Jinder Mahal, which everyone does not like Jinder. Understand? And I know one subscriber, he's not going to give a damn. He still hates Jinder. But dude, I got to say this to you. You know who you are. Even you got to decide, who do you hate more? Do you hate freaking Roman Reigns more? Or do you hate freaking Jinder Mahal more? If I'm right, you're going to say both. But still, going away from you, my friend, anyone else who cheers for Jinder Mahal compared to Roman Reigns, this is a worst case scenario for him. This is bad. I say bad. Roman Reigns may not recover from this by sticking him with the person that everyone just couldn't stand last year and already being hated, and instead of being turned heel, he is now going up against a heel who is now being cheered as a face who everyone already hated last year. This will destroy Roman Reigns. When he does turn heel, if they ever do, no one's going to care. They'll boo him, but for the entire wrong reasons. He will not get the proper heat, and in the end, it won't work. And the WWE believe it's going to work. It's not going to. This is just sad. And that's if he gets turned to a heel. He's still a face that just did heelish tendencies. I'm just saying. Now, getting to SmackDown Live. The show is alright with a couple of glitches. I just believe that the production quality wasn't exactly right. And there was a really big botch during this show. One botch was during the Cesaro and, the Bar versus New Day, where literally, and this was just with me, because I was seeing this on a site, not seeing it through the network or any other channel. When they cut away, and if you've ever seen these complete videos where there's no sound but you can watch, you see these idiots zoom in to Cesaro's face, who is talking to Xavier Woods in his ear. That is just bad. What was the cameraman thinking doing that? He could see him talking to him. He should have kept it back. Now here's the second thing that absolutely made no sense. that I think someone just didn't talk to Paige before she went out there again and spoke. Because she went out there and there was a segment afterward. It was during a commercial coming back and they cut away from it really quickly. I'm guessing this was done on UK TV. She said The Miz is going to come out and he's going to face Jeff Hardy tonight for the US title. What the hell was that? And they cut away from that. That was just a really bad botch. Someone did not talk to Paige properly. Paige either just did her job or did not confirm to make sure it was being done. But I don't care who it was. That was bad. And I'm sure the people in there were not happy about not seeing The Miz and Jeff Hardy. But taking away from the rest of the show, it wasn't a bad show. It was actually a little bit better than Raw. A little bit better. But remember, this is pre-tape and it's not going to be perfect. Now, opening the show, you got the Daniel Bryan segment with Renee Young. Daniel talked well. The person that didn't talk well was Big Kaz. He sounded... Kaz losing at the pay-per-view was absolutely stupid. I say this simply. I botched that. Saying this, I botched that because it was just wrong for him to lose. And now you see Big Kaz here trying to justify beating up Daniel Bryan. And the crowd really didn't give him the heat that he really needed. It was like, not you tapped out heat. It's like, you're not really doing very well heat. And that just shows. Because eventually the heat went away and it was like almost an awkward silence with a couple of booing. It looked terrible. And he's saying, guess who's the really stupid one that didn't get it done? You. Yup. Putting this is in my face. He needed to win. Now, I'm not saying Kaz is the best talker. He's not. But when he loses, trying to justify what he did really did not help his case at all. It just made him look bad. He's not a great talker when the story doesn't go in his favor. He can't recover very well. And then worse, he goes into the ring, doesn't defend himself. Daniel Bryan kicked his ass utterly, gave him a freaking heel hook, and made the big man look like a bitch. That just looked really bad. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. End. Now, the Miz segment, when he was with New Day, well, let's put it like this. Seeing Miz on commentary was the best thing of commentary. Todd Phillips sucks. Brian Saxon is not great. And then, let's be honest. Corey Graves. I was alright with Corey for a while, but because he can't really stay in character, he keeps flipping face, heel. Sometimes he'll stay heel for a little while and then he cuts the corner and goes back to face. Throws everything off. So hearing The Miz on commentary is way better than any of them. And then you get this match, which wasn't a bad match at all. And Xavier Woods shined here. Doesn't mean Biggie Langston didn't shine. I call him Biggie Langston. He's a Biggie. He's a Langston. He's a Biggie Langston. Mr. Pancake himself. If you didn't see, what was it, Ride Along with the New Day, I suggest you look at it because it's freaking funny. I'm not taking anything away from American Alpha version 2.0 when it came to Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin, but New Day was the highlight of it. It was freaking hilarious. But the person who shined, as far as I'm concerned, was Xavier Woods. And he got the pin. So if you got to decide between all three of them, who is the best person to go? You could say experience. Put Kofi in there. But to be honest, the best person who's been getting the most traction, who seems to have the most of a lot of what's been going on, particularly has his own YouTube channel, and it's been doing quite well, I think they're going to push Xavier Woods into that. Look, I'm not saying he's going to win the Money in the Bank. It would be amazing if he did. But I do believe they're going to use him. If it isn't him, it's going to be Biggie. But I really believe they're going to use Xavier Woods because he just has what it takes. He has the look, he has the charisma, He has already done a YouTube channel. He's just shown that he can get the job done. That's just me. Now, Bludgeon Brothers segment sucked. For one simple reason, because Luke Harper wasn't allowed to talk by himself. It had to be Luke, then Eric, then Luke, then Eric. Here's the problem for me personally. Between the two guys, and I'm not taking anything away from Eric Rowan, but he's just not a great talker compared to Luke Harper. Make Luke the one who's the mouthpiece between the Bludgeon Brothers and it'll be fine. That's just the truth. Now, here's a segment that I was worried about, but they didn't go there like they did at the pay-per-view at the world's greatest Royal Rumble. Or the greatest Royal Rumble, I don't care. You got Rusev Day. You got Aiden English ready to do a new song, but then Lana comes out saying, guess what? I'm going to have a match next week with Billie Kay, my woman. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I would ever make the woman happy. I would give it my best. She's just an adorable looking woman. Both of them are. Peyton Royce is hot. Billie Kay is gorgeous. And I'm reminding you guys, I've already said, they're great on the mic. They look good. But it doesn't mean they can wrestle yet. They're not good wrestlers yet. They're still too green. WWE has a tendency to bring people up too soon. Ergo, Alexa Bliss kind of was rushed. Nia Jax was kind of rushed, even though they really didn't need her and they haven't done anything right with her. Charlotte was rushed. It's obvious she's been rushed. You got Dana Brooks being rushed. It's the only two people that have been not rushed have been Sasha Banks, and I know people don't like that. It's true. She may botch a lot, and I say it again, she botches a lot. But at least she's consistent when she botches and consistent when she doesn't botch. You can say 40% botch, 60% non-botch, compared to Charlotte, who's 70% botch, 30%. And I know I'm going to get heat for that, but I'm being honest. I'm seeing it from a true point of view of someone who can see how they've been wrestling. Wrestling. I'm being honest here. I'm not talking about any type of promo segments, any type of character. I'm talking about clear wrestling. 70-30 for Charlotte, 60-40 for Sasha Banks. And even 60-40 for Bayley. 60-40 for both of them. That's truthful. So go ahead, chew me out. I'm just being truthful. I'm seeing it objectively. Now, almost forgot. In the New Day versus The Bar, that botch of Cesaro was not pretty. I almost forgot it. That botch when he was going to put Biggie in the sharpshooter, and instead of swinging around the right way, he did it the back way, and it was sloppy as hell. I don't know what Cesaro was thinking. Instead of turning the proper way, he was supposed to turn to his, I believe, his right to do the proper move. But he turned left and circled around Biggie. It was dumb. I don't know why. Now, Paige coming out to talk to Carmella. I know I can talk a lot about Carmella, but let's be honest. The highlight was Paige telling Carmella simply that she's got a match at Money in the Bank. It don't make a difference. She's going to match against Asuka, which kind of makes some sense. Kind of. Asuka has not gone up against enough women on the roster. She hasn't gone up against Becky. She has not gone up against Naomi. She has gone up against Lana. She hasn't gone up against Tamina. But this is where they're going. Because of her credibility, even though now she's lost twice, once by herself at WrestleMania and once with Becky in a match, they believe the best person would be her. Okay. Now, I gotta at least say that, did she try her segment? Yeah, it wasn't 100% bad. It was annoying, but that's what she's supposed to be doing, trying to be annoying. Ciano Amos versus the Jobber with Sienna Vega. Oh my goodness gracious. Was this a good opening for him? Not bad. It was not bad, particularly with the Jobber kind of beating him up a little bit, and showing his true arrogance and how he can, once he gets past his arrogance, destroy somebody. That's what he did. He destroyed the jobber. Now, did Sienna Vega, if I'm always pronouncing her name wrong. Rosita, I'm sorry guys. I mispronounced Rosita's name wrong. It's just me. I'm bad with names. But when you see the segment that Vega did with Sienna Olmos was very well done. She is just a perfect mouthpiece for him. Honestly, she is. She's a beautiful woman that can wrestle and can talk. Not many people can say that. I really believe that she's better than most of the women on the roster. And I'm not talking about just SmackDown. I'm talking about Raw. She can give Alexa Bliss a run for her money. It has been known that that woman can wrestle. She's a good wrestler. So when they finally throw her into the women's division, she's going to surprise some people for how well she can wrestle. I've seen her wrestle. She's good, unless they're going to make her gum it down and then she's going to botch her ass off. If she's allowed to go all out, she can wrestle. You guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but you can look on YouTube for some of her matches, and she's done some really good matches over the years. Now, Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose versus Sonya Deville. You see what happened at the end. Well, before. I don't know what it is about Paige. You guys tell me below what the issue is with Paige. The reason I botch is when I look at Paige, I see someone that looks kind of sickly. I don't know what it is with me. Sometimes I can see people looking something that's wrong with them. She gives off an air of someone that's sick. Maybe she's been drinking. I'm sorry. I grew up in a house with an alcoholic. I grew up in a house with someone who was a heroin addict. And 3 chain smokers, and I've never caught the bug of smoking, drinking, or chain smoking. I'm extremely lucky. Maybe that's the reason why I look alright for an age of near 50. I'm about 3 years away from being 50, so I look decently young for my age. But I just see something wrong with her. She just doesn't look right. So that was throwing it off for me when she was speaking to Mandy and Sonya, saying, you guys have a match with Becky. It's a triple threat. Now, here's the problem. The triple threat wasn't bad. It just felt a little clunky because of the interaction between Sonya and Mandy. And then Corey Graves didn't make it any better, wanting to come inside of Mandy Rose, like most guys want to come inside. I just want to marry and then come inside her. Sorry for my language. If you guys are offended, I'm sorry. I'm just being honest how Corey Graves just sounded. He sounds like he's either having sex with her or he wants to have sex with her, and he wants to make it very clear what's he thinking. And that kind of took away from the match for me. Then the interaction between them two just didn't seem like it was genuine enough. They were acting way too gentle to each other. They should have been a lot more rough with each other. They were beating up on Becky a lot, but they didn't even want to touch one another. They shoved each other a couple of times, but then they should have fought one another because this was an opportunity at Money in the Bank. They didn't like it, but this is what was going on. I just feel like this was the best thing for them, but they didn't do it. In the end, what do we get? We get Becky winning, which was actually the wisest thing to do. I believe Becky has been getting a lot of traction. She lost a lot of momentum in 2017. She was just drifting. Half of 2016 to 17, she began to drift. 17, she was just drifting everywhere. She had no direction. Now people really have gotten into her, even though she doesn't really have a character doing anything. And it kind of makes sense to use her. Now, the Samoa Joe segment. I loved it, but the problem is he lost to Roman Reigns. That's all I really need to say. It just sucks. Going up against Big Cass, I know he's going to beat him. If he doesn't, it would be a total joke after losing to Roman Reigns. So he has to win. But in the end, it just felt kind of flat because he had to lose to Roman Reigns. And finally, AJ versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I tricked your ass. I think I'm going to use that title. I tricked your ass, AJ. Or just I tricked your ass. Was it a good match? Yes, but I'm going to be honest here. Even though it was a very good match, it shouldn't have ever happened. Yes, it's the first time they actually had a match on SmackDown Live. But to be honest, it would have been better that AJ demanded from Paige to have a stipulation match. And she said, okay, you want a stipulation match? I'll put you in the ring with someone. You win that match. Then you can pick your stipulation. I think that would have been better. To have AJ be forced to fight someone for a stipulation match. Or Shinsuke Nakamura for that matter. It wouldn't have been better to actually have them interact again in SmackDown this time. I mean, it makes some sense, but I'd rather have seen them at the pay-per-view. Something you don't see all the time. That's just me. Was it a good match? Yes, it was. It was getting quite good. At the end was the part of the fake nut crunch, and then the Shinskaska. I'm pronouncing so bad. Shinskasha. If I'm pronouncing it right this time, thank goodness, I always mispronounce it. But he got a knee to face. And in the end, Shinsuke Nakamura wins, so he picks the stipulation. And I kind of wish that was what was needed. If AJ won a match other than with Shinsuke Nakamura, he wins the stipulation. If he loses, you got Shinsuke Nakamura getting the stipulation. I think that would have been better. Keeping them separate enough that it gave us something more. But in the end, this was a good show. A bit better than Raw. It wasn't amazing, but it was better. But you guys tell me below. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace.